Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Dragonlance Companion, offers 180 pages for players and DMs to bring the magical world of Krynn to life. And like many of our books, it's available in hardcover and digital format. Our Swarms of the Multiverse offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms, instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demi-planes. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs alike. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. A quick programming note before we start looking at the new releases this week. I was interviewed by the podcast, The DM's Book Club, and it was a lot of fun. We talked about this show. We talked about the books that we make for Splinterverse Media. We talked about the industry. We talked about the OGL. I mean, it's just really a fun conversation. You can get some behind the scenes details of things and how I pick books for the videos and how we put together the books for Splinterverse Media if you want to listen to it. And it's just generally a fun show. I mean, if you're watching this show, you like Dungeons and Dragons books, and so the content for the DM's Book Club is the same. They're talking about Dungeons and Dragons books and publishing in general. So I think it would be a really good fit for you to follow them, or whatever the terminology is on wherever you're listening. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, they're everywhere. I'm going to include the Spotify link so you can get directly to the episode I'm on in the video description links. It'll be the first one in the timestamps, so you can check that out. And I hope you do, and I hope you start following them, because I really enjoy their podcast, and it was just such a fun time having that conversation. So check it out. It's in the links below. DM's Book Club. First, we have amazing accessories for adventurers with a suggested price of $1 for 16 pages from author Tom Flynn. It's all about magic items, and it said the magic items presented in this supplement are meant to be as important and pivotal in your campaign as they can be. They come with unique and powerful properties, and in many cases strange and wondrous histories. The theme is that the items are ones that adventurers would love to have, but of course GMs are encouraged to tweak them as needed. So let's look inside. This is quite a few items. It talks about Aasimyr's coin, all the way down to the Spear of Elements, and there's quite a few in there. So it talks about the importance of amazing items, and then we get right into them with the coin and the Amulet of Tongues here, Belt of the Doppelganger, Boots of Growth, and the Bow of Fire and Ice. So let's look at the Amulet of Tongues. So it's very rare, requires attunement. It was first commissioned by Lady Tabitha, High Ambassador to the Fandor Confederation. As a world traveler and dignitary, she used the amulet extensively during her diplomatic missions. And it says, while wearing this amulet, the wearer has unlimited use of the Tongue spell. Your charisma is increased by 3 to a max of 20. You can cast Charm Person twice per day, Ventriloquism spell twice per day, Silence spell once per day, and Power Word Heal, Power Word Stun both twice per day, and Power Word Pain once per day, and then Power Word Kill, but the amulet is destroyed. So it's got a lot of stuff that it can do. And then let's look at Aasimyr's coin. So this is a legendary. It says lore holds that Aasimyr was the court magician for the kingdom of 𝙤𝙤𝙤 during the Fourth Age. The coin was originally created for the king's second son, Prince Tybalt the Bold. Tybalt was known throughout the kingdom for his adventuring exploits and bringing glory and fame and riches to the kingdom. The coin was developed to provide a compact but useful tool for the prince. The coin is gold, and on its head side features a bust of King Rolfed, fifth ruler of 𝙤𝙤𝙤. The tail side depicts a raven perched in an oak tree. the ancient and revered symbol of the old kingdom. The coin has the following powers, which can be used at will by speaking the command word. So defend, the coin will grow to the size of a full shield, complete with arm straps, and will function as a +2 shield. Travel, the coin will grow to accommodate up to 3 medium humanoids and 800 pounds of total weight. It will function as a flying disc. Illuminate, the coin will produce a glowing light in a radius of 10 feet. And then it says it has powers that can be used once per day, such as it'll make change. So you'll get coins that spell forth 3d6 of those gold coins. And then you get good tidings. The coin bursts forth a blue light, and anyone within 10 feet of it and holding the coin receives the benefit of a bless spell. And then mitigate, the coin bursts forth a green light, and anyone within 30 feet gets the benefits of a mass cure wounds. And then you can cast Wall of Force, and the holder flips the coin and can re-roll any saving throw, ability check, or attack roll. And the coin casts the hypnotic pattern spell. So lots of stuff, but once per day, and this is legendary, so it's got to be pretty powerful. I do like the idea of a coin growing to the size of a shield. That's pretty cool, and becoming a floating disc also works, so that's interesting. I like it. Fun stuff in here, and it's pay what you want, so check it out under amazing accessories for adventurers in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have bite-sized adventures in the Mournland or somewhere else from Kenneth Proven, $4.39 for 26 pages. It says, welcome to this compilation of bite-sized adventures set in the eldritch desolation of the Mournland, the former nation of Sire, and its capital Metrol. These adventures are designed to be seamlessly integrated with the Eberron Codex adventure, adding depth and excitement to the player's time in the Mournland. Explore the wasteland and ghostly city where danger lurks at every turn and adventure waits around you. So there's 10 unique encounters, and it has a really cool look to it. So let's take a look inside. So it's in spread format, so you're seeing 2 pages at a time, but you can see it's pretty interesting looking, very Eberron style. So that's nice. Let's zoom in so we can read a little bit more. So it talks about all the different adventures. So there's one called The Lost Librarium, a library filled with ancient and powerful knowledge that has been lost for centuries. Another one called The Burning District, a portion of Metrol that is engulfed in eternal flames. So some fun sounding stuff. And we just read a little bit. You're going to be able to read all of it, at least 12 pages worth of the 26 by coming here and checking out this full-size preview. So this first one's a level 4 to 5 about the library. We'll read about that in a minute. But yeah, so good assortment in here. Getting to check out a few of the adventures. They seem to be mostly for levels 4 to 5. So keep that in mind if you have a party that's going to be around that level range. This could be a good fit. It says the Lost Librarium was a grand library in Metro renowned for its vast collection of books, manuscripts, and magical artifacts. However, the morning wiped out all its inhabitants and the library was abandoned. Rumors of valuable artifacts and forbidden knowledge still remain in the lost hall of the librarium. So shows you what happens in the adventure, gives you like the 3 sections and then the encounters. It says the players come across a room filled with floating books that attack anyone who enters. The players must use their skills to dodge and avoid the flying tomes and reach the door on the other side. In another room, the players find a ghostly librarian who still haunts the library. The ghost is fiercely protective of the library and will attack anyone who tries to take anything from the shelves. So yeah, that seems pretty cool. Very library-like. And you got a swarm of books in here that's going to do some of the attacking, it looks like. It's a CR14. And the next one, the Burning District, you're going to have a fire elemental, it looks like. It says the Burning District of Metrol is a once bustling neighborhood filled with grand buildings and wealthy citizens. However, since the morning, the district has become a blazing inferno that cannot be extinguished. The fire has been raging for years, fueled by the powerful magical energy that permeates the area. The district is now a dangerous place filled with smoke, ash, and intense heat, where only the bravest of adventurers dare to enter. And they're going to deal with a group of ash zombies, a mutated fire-breathing dragon, a rogue fire mage, and some other interesting stuff. Yeah, this could be really fun. And I mean, you could move some of these somewhere else. I mean, you could reskin these things, have them be, just a different name for the library or the district, or even use these names in another setting. And mix it all up, but pretty cool. I like it. I think having quite a few little adventures on hand, especially for Eberron, is going to be helpful. So look for it in the video description links under Bite-Sized Adventures in the Mournland and give it a click. Next we have Bumps in the Night, 12 monsters from Folklore and Urban Legend. So this is from Daniel K. and the girl Tate, and it is 25 pages. It says, throughout time, communities have shared stories about prowling monsters to scare and caution each other. What if the monsters in these stories were more real than anyone ever knew? Bumps in the Night presents 12 creatures from Folklore and Urban Legend, reconceptualizing them for a fantasy setting. Embody these creatures to live up to their tales, retell the story in a more sympathetic light, or waylay your party with some familiar or some unfamiliar figures. Each creature comes with a creepy art, flavorful lore, diverse plot hooks, and optional legendary actions if you want to add a little challenge. Will you prophesize doom with the Mothman, plague a town's farming industry with the goat sucker, or hunt for the highly sought milk of the jackalope? And then they've got some pictures here from the book and a kind of little trailer down here that's fun to watch. You should watch that. And it's I don't know if I mentioned, but it's $3.99 for 25 pages. So it's got Bigfoot all the way down to this Snallygaster, and we're getting to see 7 of those 25 pages. So it starts with a Bigfoot here, and then we got something called Braxy, and then the Death Worm. So let's read about Braxy. It says, across many planes, stars, and other celestial bodies, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It said, across many planes, stars, and other celestial bodies are read for fortune, direction, and symbolism. For the family who first came across the Braxy, the heavens seemed to have a peculiar message to deliver indeed. On a quiet farm in Plainsland, a family of 4 who had run out of candle wax took their evening meal outside under the stars. Imagine their surprise as one of those twinkling, glittering lights hanging above them dislodged itself from its place in the inky shroud of space and rocketed down to the ground just over the hills of the farmstead. As the family claims it, the sound of the star's descent was a metallic squeal, as if red-hot silver was dropped into the water. Trailing the fallen star was a tale of blinding, unnatural green light. Sorry, I can't read today. The fallen star was a tale of blinding, unnatural green light. There you go. The father and the eldest boy of the family took it upon themselves to seek out the star's landing site, but neither one anticipated what would be waiting there at the scene. So in the dim of the moonlight, father and son claimed to have just been able to make out the silhouette of something, a creature, a monster, maybe a traveler, creeping out of the oddly shaped rock left behind in the crater of the star crash. And it's got glowing orange orbs for eyes, etc. And it looks cool like this over here on the right. It says, presumably this visitor from the stars was never able to recover its vessel and return to whence it came, and thus must remain hidden somewhere among us, inspiring gossip and folk tales as it hides in the vegetation. Sometimes the only remnant of Braxy's visit is the alien technology that it accidentally leaves behind. So it's got various plot hooks here. So one of them is alien technology. The party stumbles across a laser pistol randomly on the ground. This strange alien technology may seem like trivial fun to them, but the Braxy who lost it is determined to get that pistol back at any cost. So that's one angle to work this in. Racket, every evening in recent weeks, just as the sun sets, animals across the plains have been erupting in a howling orchestra that lasts over an hour. No creature except humanoids seems to be immune to joining the collective call. What could be provoking the sunset song? So it could be him or it, Braxy doing things. So there's optional legendary actions here for Braxy, and Braxy is a CR7, and it says it's got an ability called Braxy Gas. The Braxy exudes a sickly yellow gas that fills a 30-foot radius area centered on itself. The gas is lightly obscured and remains for 1 minute until a moderate wind disperses it, or until Braxy uses the action again. When a creature moves into the gas for the first time on its turn, or starts its turn there, that creature must make a con saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes fire damage and poison damage and is poisoned for 1 minute. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't poisoned. While the creature is poisoned in this way, it is blinded and has disadvantage on con checks or saving throws. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns ending the effect on itself on a successful save. If the creature remains poisoned for the entire minute, it is permanently blinded, and can only hold its breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus half its con modifier. These effects can only be removed by a greater restoration spell or similar magic. So yeah, he's got this gas he can make, and other stuff going on. And so it's cool. You get these plot hooks. You get 4 different plot hooks. You get these stat blocks, and these optional legendary actions. He's got a fear gaze. It looks like you can make it frightened of it with the fear gaze. He's also got the laser pistol as a legendary action. So it's nice to have those as well to mix in. But you've got the death worm in here that you can look through. You've also got Bigfoot that you can look through. Bigfoot is a CR5, so a good mixture, it looks like, of CRs for you. Yeah, this is fun stuff. I mean, you could use this even in modern games, I think, with like Bigfoot and stuff, and Alien. But you can always rename them too if you want them to be named something other than Bigfoot. But really cool, fun stuff. I like it. I like the background being darker and the artwork being interesting. So check it out. It's under Bumps in the Night in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have The Day Without End, or The Day Without An End by Stephen DeFranco. It says, experience a unique twist on an otherwise classic adventure. And it's $14.95 for 24 pages. It says, built atop the mouth of a great river, the quiet town of Shorewood awaits daring adventurers to rescue it from an anomalous threat. What adventures await in the little unassuming town, and what secrets lay buried beneath its wholesome facade? This adventure introduces the riverside town of Sherwood, a setting non-specific location for any campaign, fully detailed with locations, maps, and NPCs. The adventures for a party of 3 to 5 8th level characters, and is perfect for a standalone 1 to 3 shot experience. So let's check it out. You get to see 9 of those 24 pages, so it looks like it's broken into 2 sections. And you got the intro here, then you get right into chapter 1, including the fishing guild, and then this really fun map of Shorewood here later on. That's cool. All right, so let's look at the beginning of chapter 1 here. It says, Shorewood is a very small town that lies at the mouth of a great river. The town is centuries old, and the population has never exceeded the limits the term small might imply. The people who live in Shorewood love their home and have no desire to venture past its borders, yet some rely on trading with foreign nations and neighboring towns for their income. The town's position on the river allows for easy trading upriver and across certain stretches of the ocean it lies on. So then you get some guilds, like the Trading Guild, and the people in it. So you get their personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, which is going to be super helpful to run those. You get the Fishing Guild, the Farming Guild, and then you get certain locations like the Farmer's Ring. The Farmer's Ring is a small circle of homes near the Eastwood Bridge. This is where all the farmers of Sherwood live, except for Joe Brandy, whose estate lies south of the ring. The farmers live further away from town to be closer to their farms, and most of the farmers rarely go into the town anyways, with the Cathedral of the Eastern Wind being mainly the only other frequented place for them. So it's good to know their behavior here. You got the Seaway Graveyard. It's the town's cemetery and allows for convenient and meaningful burials because it's near the cathedral. It says it has no more than a few gravestones on a grassy hill, but its simplicity suits the quaint town. The graveyard is tended by torchbearer Rotho, the priest and presider of the Cathedral of the Eastern Wind. So you can see some of those things on this map. You get the cathedral over here on the left, and the graveyard is nearby. So yeah, fun little locations. I love that they're giving you so much background on Shorewood, because you can take these guilds and these people and put them in other towns. You can use the town on its own. You can use it for this adventure. Whatever you want to do, you get some flexibility here. So yeah, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. And yeah, I like Shorewood. So check it out under The Day Without an End in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Dragonslayers, subclasses for the Tyranny of Dragons campaign by Joss Widgell, and it's $1.97 for 15 pages. And it says, when the game you're playing is named after a creature, you can bet that creature is pretty tough, and you'll need all the help you can get when facing one. These subclasses were designed to go up against dragons and come out on top, but are also fun in other situations. So you've got the Snaresmith, an artificer who entraps their foes with spells and zips around the battlefield with a grapple shot. You got Path of the Glorious Hunt, a path for barbarians who focus their rage on a single opponent and lose sight of everything else. College of Flattery. These bards specialize in stroking the egos of their listeners to charm them and captivate their attention. You've got a Thievery Domain, the Circle of Calling, Shield Knight, Way of Humility, Oath of Pursuance, Big Game Hunter for the Ranger, Horde Raider for Rogues, Fiendish Avarice for Sorcerers, Night Dragon for, it looks like maybe the Warlock, and then the School of Physiology for Wizards. So, fun stuff. So yeah, I really like the cover art too. But and this is a fun picture of this creature dealing with these goblins. And it's got the artificer here that you can look at, and the barbarian, and then the bard College of Flattery. So let's look at the College of Flattery. That looks really fun. As performers, bards often have a way with words, but the College of Flattery takes the art of persuasion further. Bards of this college specialize in stroking the ego of the right people at the right time, gaining the favor they need to further their own goals. In the service of powerful patrons, these bards usually climb to influential positions in their households. Being prideful creatures, dragons are often receptive to the words of these bards and easily allow themselves to be distracted by honeyed words when they would be paying attention. So for Sweet Talker 3rd level College of Flattery feature, weaving subtle magic into your compliments, you can captivate the attention of a creature you are conversing with. When you are talking to a creature that can understand you in a flattering manner, you can make a persuasion check against their passive insight to keep them engaged in the conversation. While engaged, the creature keeps their focus on you and doesn't take aggressive actions or leave you behind, and has disadvantage on perception checks to notice anything other than you. So you kind of hypnotize them a little bit. It looks like the effect lasts while you keep conversing with the creature in a positive, flattering manner. If you insult the creature, you must immediately make another persuasion check with disadvantage, or the creature becomes hostile towards you. If neither you nor the creature talk to each other for one round, or if the creature takes damage, the effect simply ends. Once you use this feature, you have to wait until you finish a short or long rest to use it again. And then you get some extra spells, access to some extra spells. And then it says, when at 6th level, when you give a bardic inspiration die to another creature, they get a +1 bonus to the roll when they use that die. That's cool. That's helpful. Called Boost Confidence. And then you got Honeyed Words. Whenever you cause a target to make a saving throw against being charmed, you can expend a use of Bardic Inspiration to make the effect harder to resist. Roll the Bardic Inspiration die and add the result to the save DC. So yeah, you're going to up that DC with that Bardic Inspiration die. And it's appropriately called Honeyed Words, so that's cool. So with the Barbarian, it says, for barbarians that follow this path of the glorious hunt, dragons often represent the ultimate test, and it is their sole drive to make the creature meet their challenge head on. They often carry multiple throwing weapons to make sure they can keep relentlessly attacking should a dragon attempt to fly off. So that's cool. And the 14th level feature, it says you can shove your chosen prey regardless of their size. If you move at least 20 feet before successfully shoving your chosen prey, they are stunned until the end of their next turn. So that could be really helpful. So yeah, fun stuff going on in here. I love the cover artwork. And yeah, this could be useful anywhere, like Tyranny of Dragons, or if you're going to have like a heavy Dragonlance campaign, you could use it there, or in any campaign where the dragons are going to be prominent. I think this would be helpful. So check it out under Dragonslayers in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Lost Treasure of the Obrakan, a Nanzobar jungle adventure, episode 3 for 3rd to 4th level characters. So this is from Alan Davidson, 41 pages. And the other 2 parts are right down here under contributors, and they all came out in the same week. So I just picked one of them to cover, but keep in mind that they're all 3 available through the link that we have. And it says, anticipation is high in Mezcala. Treasure hunters are coming from all over to attempt to find the ancient Newadi shrine called the Obrakan. If the shrine is there, it may contain the greatest treasure of the Nanzobar, but will expeditions into the deep jungle stir the ancient powers hidden there and bring woe to the people of Nanzobar? So it's a one-shot. And you can see here, there's no full-size preview, but we get to look at 3 of the pages here, and I really enjoy the artwork. It's got a really nice style to it. This sort of eyeball tentacle thing rising out of the water looks really cool. You've got this hand-drawn style map with nice color down here on the left. So we'll read just a little bit of what we can see here on the page. So it says, To my devotees, I sincerely hope this map and my notes lead you to fame and fortune. If you seek the fabled shrine of Obrakan, I can share with you my humble translation of an ancient Nawadi song that the jungle people say reveals the location of the shrine. Good luck, young adventurers, and may you find all that you seek. So they get some sort of note, it looks like. And the notes include Cliffs of Insanity. I don't know why these cliffs are called this, but they are. I will say I do seem almost to hear moaning from the woods above the cliffs on top of the plateau. Careful here, a river in the cliffside, channels run swiftly and is treacherous. And then you've got hippos hello, eternal vines, monkeys fall, so all sorts of notes on this map. And what's cool is the map isn't super detailed, so it's not like it's going to give things away. It's just giving you a rough idea of what you might experience. But it says, enter the Watcher. If the party touches the treasures, drawing out the can attack, Zapali, the Watcher, will rush into the belly of the Obrakan to try to stop the party from taking the treasure. Zapali screams at the party in an old form of Nawadi, telling them that the treasure is cursed, but the language is lost and unintelligible without magical means of understanding. Zapali will do all he can to stop the party from taking treasures from the chamber if they do leave the chamber and Zapali is still alive. He also leaves knowing that they will have to warn the river valley about the release of the river Kraken. So, interesting stuff going on, and as I said, I like all the art we're seeing here, and I do like the voice of this character that's leaving notes for them. I think it's fun and playful. There's only $6.99 for 41 pages. That's a good amount of pages. And as I said, there's 2 other ones down here that you can do for first tier as well to bring them all together and do like a little trilogy. So check it out. It's under Lost Treasure of the Obrakan in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have The Price of Justice, Missions from the Golden Vault. And it's $7.95 for 34 pages. And so, the new book came out or it's coming out. I think if you bought the bundle from D&D Beyond, you get the digital early. I'm not sure when it comes out. I haven't been paying that much attention since the whole OGL mess with what Wizards is doing. But anyway, they've released a new book, and so there's going to be some tie-ins to it. And that book is focused on heists, and it has a bunch of adventures from what I understand. So there's other books like this one that are coming out to give you some supplements to pair with that, which I think is awesome. It says, follow up to 3 unique story paths as you break into the home of the city barrister Reader Algerone. The barrister's estate is a dangerous place filled with guards, magical protections, and hidden guardians. So you get a fully mapped dungeon filled with protections, guards, and unique opportunities for creative players, 7 fully realized NPCs to help frame the adventure and grant players unique new allies during the heist, 6 new stat blocks for monsters and NPCs, a dumbwaiter that the players can use to sneak around the estate. And then here you have some really cool artwork for some of the characters. So it says the Heist of White Fire. In the Heist of the White Fire, the characters are hired by Victor Corvin, son of a famous painter. He asks the characters to steal the barrister's prized possession, the legendary painting, The Child of White Fire. The painting is the greatest work of Victor's late mother, and her final wish was to get it back. That's a good motivation. And then you got the Heist of Forefathers. In the Heist of the Forefathers, characters are approached by Ricardo Algeron Jr., the estranged brother of the barrister. He claims that 30 years ago, the barrister killed their father and forged an alteration to his will that cut Ricardo out of the family fortune. He asked them to break into the estate and find proof of the barrister's crimes. So that's very fun too. They got to find proof. That's going to be an interesting thing to do a heist for. Is where's the proof, and it's going to be harder to plan a heist for that. But I like that. That's good that these heists are diverse. So let's see here. So you've got chapter 1, taking the job, chapter 2, the Algerone estate, and then the epilogue, and then all your things that you need, like their maps and the monsters and NPCs in the back. So it goes through running the adventures, talks about the heist, so some of the stuff that we just talked about, differing objectives. For more experienced play groups, you might decide that instead of the characters all working towards the same objective, that one or more of the characters have different objectives. In this case, while the characters will work together, they must complete their objectives in relative secrecy from one another. Yeah, so that could be fun. So we're getting to see 9 of the 34 pages. So good chunk of stuff. You can see there's a symbol they have to look for, brickwork boot symbol. Then you've got some lore tables. So it says under the barrister lore, the barrister owns a number of beautiful ivory canes, each adorned with the head of a carnivorous animal shaped in gold. She has no need for them, and they are exclusively for show. Another piece of lore about the barrister. The barrister has never married or had children, but it's a poorly kept secret that she has taken a number of mistresses over the years. It is believed she may currently be having an affair with one of her maids. So yeah, that's just 2 of the 4 pieces of information you can find out about the barrister. The crime boss is willing to answer the following questions, so you get a whole list of questions for it looks like maybe Old Boulder here. It says, what kind of protections does the barrister have? It says, she has the brickwork boots under her employ. They're mercenaries by trade, reasonably competent too. I once tried to hire their leader, Dovin Emar, years before they started the boots, but they turned me down. I think they might have been one of the only times anyone's turned me down. I respect that. So, fun little character. I like that they're all in dialogues, these answers to the questions, so that you can just read them aloud if they ask these things, or you maybe have an NPC asking some of them. So good amount of flavor text too, which is always helpful. So let's find a little bit of flavor text to read. I think I'm going to read this one because it's by all the other stuff we've read, and I might go with it. Beneath its fairly bland exterior, the ship is in pristine condition. The hallways are unusually wide for such a vessel. The floors marked out with luxurious rugs, and the walls decorated with fine paintings. The whole thing smells of fresh herbs and incense. The figure leads you to the end of the hall, where she opens a pair of beautifully carved mahogany doors. Beyond an extravagant office of imported woods, fabrics, and pieces of high art cover this room. It looks like the lobby of an aristocratic hotel rather than the inside of a ship. Sat in an enormous leather seat behind an equally sized desk is a titan of a man. Even sitting behind his desk, the ogre before you is almost 6 feet tall, with mountains of muscle barely contained beneath a stylish pinstripe suit. A thin pencil mustache lines his otherwise hairless head, with piercing green eyes shadowed by the brim of a pork pie hat. Around him, lounging in various other seats around the room, are 3 other individuals who make no effort to hide the weapons on their persons. Welcome, outsiders. Do take a seat, the ogre says, gesturing to a number of chairs set out before his desk. So yeah, some nice, flowing, easy to read flavor text to set the mood and introduce some of these characters. I like that there's artwork in here to accompany it, and then you get these lore tables to help you, as well as dialogue, answers to questions. I mean, I think it's pretty well done in terms of prepping you to run the adventure and be ready for anything that comes up. It looks like a lot of fun, and it's nice that there's books out there to go along with the newest book from Wizards. So check it out. It's under Price of Justice, and the link's below. Give it a click. Next, we have Silverstars of Selûne from Carl Terrence Vandal. It's $1.50 for 6 pages, and it's a cleric domain. It says a unique cleric domain for use in the Forgotten Realms. Selûne, goddess of the moon, is known throughout the realms for advocacy of freedom and tolerance. Those clerics that choose the path of the Silver Star champion these ideals alongside trying to build harmony between lycanthropes and non-shape-changers, protecting the weak and the oppressed, and opposing the forces of Shar at every turn. So you get, as always with Carl's work, you get very nice maps to accompany what you're doing. So you get this map of the local area, and then you get the introduction, background, etc. So lots of lore as usual with Carl's stuff, so you can learn all about the Forgotten Realms, and then you get right into the lunar domain. So it says Silverstars of Selûne is used to represent the abilities of any cleric who has chosen to devote themselves to the goddess Selûne and has joined her more militant arm. So you get some spells, and then you get bonus proficiency. So you gain proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. And starting at 2nd level, you can use your channel divinity to imbue any heavy mace that you wield with the power of Selûne, or Selûne. I'm not sure how you say that. As a bonus action, you can present your holy symbol, and a silver light surrounds your weapon. The effect lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated or die. The weapon is treated as a +1 heavy mace and deals an additional 2d6 force damage when it hits. If the mace has additional abilities such as frost, these abilities still apply, and if the weapon has an enhancement bonus better than +1, the higher of the two bonuses is used. If the mace leaves your hands, it reverts to its original abilities. At 7th level, the weapon is treated as having a +2 enhancement bonus. At 12th level, you can apply this ability to any weapon that you wield, and it deals an additional 3d6 force damage when it hits. At 16th level, the weapon is treated as having a +3 enhancement bonus. So, nice weapon that kind of grows with you. That's helpful. So, even if you don't have a magic item, it'll give you a bonus, which is cool. And then at 6th level, you can project balls of luminescent lunar energy from your eyes. These act in the same way as the Dancing Light spell, and you can use the ability at will, and it lasts for the duration of the spell. You also gain dark vision, and if you already have it, it's increased. And then at 8th level, you gain the Blessing of Selûne, which includes you are better able to resist the magic of the Shadow Weave, gaining a +2 bonus to saves against enchantment, illusion, and necromancy spells and effects. And spells and effects with darkness in their name have no effect on you. You are better able to resist the curse of lycanthropy, gaining a +2 on con saves against lycanthropy. If you do contract lycanthropy, you're treated as a natural lycanthrope, changing your type to shape changer. You do not change your alignment due to contracting lycanthropy, and are fully aware of your actions while in animal or hybrid form. So it actually might not be that bad to become a lycanthrope with this subclass, which is cool. And then at 17th level, you can you have an ability to use Moonfire as a bonus action. So that's cool. It says you shed bright silver light in a 30-foot radius. You are immune to magic that is cast using the Shadow Weave, and you gain resistance to necrotic damage. And then while it's present, you have the following additional options: you can cast a Cure Wounds spell, and gain those extra hit points. So fun stuff. You can also cast the Revivify, and you can release a line of fire 5 feet wide or 30-foot cone of silver fire. So they'll take some radiant damage from that. So really cool. It's very, very appropriate. All the abilities seem really appropriate to the moon and a lunar domain. So that's good. Sometimes you get a subclass theme and it's just a weak theme, right? So I appreciate that Carl has made it very well tied to that theme, and that it's consistent throughout. And it's so nice always with Carl stuff to get maps and to get all this extra lore about the area and the weave and the Silverstars and Selûne and all that stuff. Because a lot of times you don't get that with the subclass. So I think you should check it out. It's only $1.50 too. So look for it under Silverstars of Selûne in the links below. Give it a click. And then we've got Stolen Hearts, an anthology of love story heist adventures. So we talked about how Wizard's latest book is all about heists and mini adventures. So this book goes along with that. It's from Daniel Kahn, Dana Floberg, Alex Niederberger, Isla Lauder, Lynn Meyer, Matthew Campbell, and Saga McKenzie, and it's $11.95 for 75 pages. So it's quite a big book. And what I love the most about it, well, there's a lot to love, but the thing that I love the most is that it covers you from level 1 all the way to 17 with these mini adventures. So you've got options for days on what to do. Wherever your party is, there's an option, because these are offering quite a bit of coverage to take you from level 1 to 17. And you can, the way they're set up, they end at the level that the next one starts. So if you wanted to literally start with the first of the 6 adventures and go from 1 to 17, you could as a campaign. So I think that's really, really cool. And there's some really fun artwork in here and nice layout. And of course, stunning map work as well. Saga McKenzie does such great work, and I'm always happy to see it in these books. So, and Saga also did some writing here, so that's great. Let's look inside. So we've got each of the adventures in here, and then what's cool is they have like their own little intro with the summary and the hooks and the prep stuff, and then you've got the whole adventure itself, and then you get magic items and creatures at the end for each of them. So if they have it, right, if they have magic items and creatures connected, and most of them do. So how cool is that? 75 pages too, so it's a really good sized book. But we're just scrolling through, looking through, see fun pictures of some of the NPCs and characters you'll meet, and beautiful maps. I think that looks really cool, of this estate here, and then another estate. Yeah, love that. Yeah, very cool. Magic items. So they've got this one called Decanter of Endless Water. It's a wondrous item, uncommon. The stoppered flask sloshes when shaken as if it contains water. The decanter weighs 2 pounds. You can use an action to remove the stopper and speak one of 3 command words, whereupon an amount of fresh water or salt water, your choice, pours out of the flask. The water stops pouring out at the start of your next turn. Choose from the following options. Stream produces 1 gallon of water. Fountain produces 5 gallons of water. Geyser produces 30 gallons of water that gushes forth in a geyser 30 feet long and 1 foot wide. As a bonus action, while holding the decanter, you can aim the geyser at a creature you can see within 30 feet of you. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or take bludgeoning damage and fall prone. Instead of a creature, you can target an object that isn't being worn or carried, that weighs no more than 200 pounds. The object is either knocked over or pushed up to 15 feet away from you. So lots of uses for this. I mean, you can get water to drink, or you can use it to make an attack. And I like that there's some suggested command words, because yes, it's cool to be able to come up with your own, but especially when there's 3, having options to just use stream or fountain or geyser is good. And if you want to find the corresponding versions of those words in another language like Elvish or something, you could do that, or you can make up your own. There's nothing stopping you. But I appreciate that they're provided here as well. So that's really cool. So fun stuff. Let's scroll up and read a little bit of one of the adventures. So let's look at Sending Love. So it says, some say love is the most powerful force in the world. When new love blossoms unexpectedly on a city street, a band of clever heroes or misfits is called upon to deliver a secret gift to a guarded mansion. Will love prevail, or will the party be caught and cast out with the riffraff? So really fun concept. I love that love is connected to these heists as well. It's a fun idea. And it says it's a romantic comedy heist adventure for parties levels 1 to 3. So there's several potential hooks. One of them is called Fairy Godmother. It says, one night the party is approached by the spectral form of 𝑚eowin's Fairy Godmother. The Fairy Godmother informs the party that 𝑚eowin has been wrongfully imprisoned for stealing a golden bracelet from the Weathers, I'm not sure how to say it, Poshweathers, a noble family, and is in need of help. The Fairy Godmother can lead the party to 𝑚eowin's cell to hear her story. 𝑚eowin cannot give back the bracelet, so she needs the party to return it to the family vault, where it can be discovered naturally by 𝘽𝙤's father to clear her name. In addition, 𝑚eowin wants the party to give 𝘽𝙤 one of a pair of 𝑚eowin's sending stones so she can communicate with her lover. So interesting. And this heist and putting something back in the vault all ties to love, right? So you get the background, you get the preparation, casing the joint. It says if the party spends some time staking out the residence, you can run a DC 13 casing the joint skill challenge, and then they can learn the following information. So if they get 1 or fewer successes, they learn that the front door is guarded at all hours of day and night. All of the upstairs candles go out 3 hours after dark. The first floor often has candlelight moving around at odd hours, presumably the butler. And then there's things that they learn for more successes. But approaching the house, it says, looming in the twilight is a grand 2-story house set like a jewel in a spacious part of the city. A prominent gate is sealed shut at the front of the house, and an iron fence wraps around a marvelous garden at the rear. The greenery is well tended, featuring a gravel trail one might use for walks or exercise, though it is currently deserted. 2 armed guards stand quietly outside the front door. So nice flavor text to set the stage of what's there, so the party can figure out what they're going to do. And then you see this whole location, because they're going to have to find this where to put this stuff, right? That they have to return. I think that's what this adventure is. I don't know. There's a lot of adventures. I may have mixed up a couple of them, but that's okay. There's some fun stuff in here. I mean, look at that artwork. Mugsworth. So cool. And then you've got 𝘽𝙤 Poshweather. It says, 𝘽𝙤's bedroom. The single bedroom is bedecked with all manner of academic awards and fencing trophies. The window shutters are closed with a padlock, and the bed is surrounded by a gossamer curtain. Heartbroken and sleepless, 𝘽𝙤 is lying awake in his bed, thinking of his love over the drone of his mother snoring. If alerted to danger, 𝘽𝙤 is standing in a guarded stance with an ornamental rapier drawn. Either way, he demands the characters identify themselves, threatening to riddle them with holes and saying they've chosen the wrong lad to steal from. As soon as the characters mention Miowen, 𝘽𝙤 ends all hostilities and begs the characters to tell him any news of her. If the characters give 𝘽𝙤 the sending stone, read the following. 𝘽𝙤 eagerly takes the stone in his hands and his features soften. So she didn't abandon me. He turns his back to you and whispers into it. A moment later, he nearly jumps out of his slippers. His eyes gleam with excitement and the glint of tears. Thank you. I'm in your debt for this, he says warmly. So that's such a cute story. I like the love stuff. So this is cool. I mean, fun little love adventures in here and heists and things that you've got to do. And I mean, look at this artwork. It's so cute and good and fun. So 6 different adventures that cover 1 to 17. And they're a good mixture of levels. So if you just need like, a 3-level adventure, you can pick one of these and run with it. You also get VTT ready, gridded, ungridded maps. I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for from a book to tie into this latest Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So check it out. It's under Stolen Hearts in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have the Thayan Encyclopedia Volume 1, Land of Necromancy, with this really fun cover from Oscar Raxo and Chando and Daniel Odysseus Riquelme, and it's $4.95 for 32 pages. And it says it's an immersive campaign setting for the land of Thay during the ruling of the Lich King Sazaz Tam, written from the perspective of characters within the universe. So that's what's really cool about this. You're going to be reading sort of an in-game encyclopedia. It says this is the first of 3 volumes already in the making. Within its pages, you'll read the work made by a team of journalists, Memorious Inc., attempting to summarize and explain how did necromancy come to rule over Thay and how it has affected its army, turning it into the most feared undead force in the multiverse. From describing Thay itself and the Red Wizards that inhabit it to enlisting battle tactics, warmongering spells, original magic items, and new characters, this campaign setting has all the world building you need to take your players beyond a normal campaign and into the world itself. So really cool. And it says the authors have an undying love for Thay and its lore. So they're hoping that you'll share that love by looking at the book. So, and it says even though they have AI art, they did pay money for conventional image design editing processes to provide the best they can offer. So don't be turned away by the artwork because there was human involvement in it. It sounds like. And you've got all of the sections here. And it's interesting because this is end game, right? So your characters could find this book and be reading it, and it has that feel of this sort of parchment, right? And then you've got characters like Zar here giving you the background. And it says, well, I'm not an expert on the topics discussed here. I'm most certainly an interested party as well as one of the producers of this work, and thus I give myself the right to append my magnificent thoughts all over the book. You're welcome. So you're going to get some notes from another character. You get the Anthropian Library, the Ministry of Transliminality, and the Zodiarchy and its members. And I mean, look at how nice the artwork looks. And there's Zar again, and then you get the Memorious Inc. and the Red Wizards. It says Summary of Volume 1, Necromancy as the Weapon of Thay. So yeah, I like how this looks. It's like notes cobbled together. You can see it says it was discovered after substantial trial and error that underfeeding slaves made them underperform against common soldiers, despite the former's magical conditioning. The fact that Thay's authorities dismissed this basic notion for so long speaks volumes of their utter disregard for basic human needs. So you're getting notes from the field of what's going on in this place. So you could be there reading it, or you could be about to journey there and you read it. However it works out, this could be really interesting to use in your campaign. You could even have like torn pages from it, right? And just have a page revealed to your players. So it says the Anthropian Library, perhaps the most important discovery in the history of the Astral Sea, a dilapidated labyrinthic library comprised of rooms and corridors roved by unknown assailants. Within, coded in great tomes, undecipherable to the layperson's eye, lies all knowledge. Though not much is known about the library, its physical location, creator, and purpose still unknown, it is speculated that a cataclysm of unknown origin precipitated the library into its current state of disrepair. The knowledge recovered from the library has transformed the city of Urbs Tritios into an industrial and magical powerhouse in the Astral Sea. Its influence on the city has been so pervasive that all modern institutions can trace their origins back to the library in one way or another. So yeah, I like that. A library that contains all knowledge would be a really great place to go as a character. So the Zodiarchy and its members, composed of 11 members who have mastered the theory of transliminality, one of which becomes the High Zodiarch. The Zodiarchy, or Council of Zodiarchs, is the ruling body of the Ministry of Transliminality. One becomes a Zodiarch by inventing a transliminal equation, also called a fluxion, that causes a significant impact on Tritian society. Each member has a unique fluxion that becomes his signature spell. Far from being specialized mages, however, Zodiarchs devote their whole careers to broadening their magical capabilities to unify all schools of magic into one. So it says the symbol of the Zodiarchy, each star represents a Zodiac. So very, very cool looking artwork to go with this text. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I think you could have fun just reading through this, even if you're not going to play with it. Just to read through it, I think would be fun, because it's only $4.95 for 32 pages of goodness. And you can use it to inform your campaign. As I said, you can have a page torn out of it. You can print it and they find it. You can read from it. Maybe an NPC has it and is reading from it. You can just use it to inform you as a DM so that you can speak some of the things about 𝘏 as you experience 𝘏 with your players. I mean, and there's even some magic items in here. So very, very cool. I like this. It looks like it's going to be a fun read and an interesting series of books. So check it out. It's under Thayan Encyclopedia in the links below. Give it a click. Well, that was our last new release for one of the sites. Before we move on to the second site, a few announcements for you. First of all, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave us a comment. All those things help us get the word out. More people find the videos and get to know about all these great releases if you can do that. And I'll respond to all comments personally. If you can click those links in the video description and support all these awesome creators that we featured this week, that really helps them. This business is tough, so you want to help encourage them to stay in it and creating these awesome titles for you to enjoy and bring to your table. And if you click any of those links and make a purchase, even if we didn't talk about it today, it's going to help support the channel through a small affiliate fee. So we really appreciate it when you do your shopping with us. That's awesome. And if you really want to take it to the next level to support us, you can purchase one of our books. You can go to splinterverse.com to read more about all of those, or click the links in the video description in the section we have on our books. And I'll just tell you about a few of them here now. So our latest one is the Dragonlance Companion. It's 180 pages for DMs and players to really get into Krynn. Everything from subclasses to races, including classic ones like Draconians and Half-Ogres and Thanoi, as well as 2 full-blown adventures, a Tier 1 and a Tier 2 that you can link together for a full campaign. We've got monsters, magic items, encounters, new types of items like legacy items, and even herald items that are connected to the gods, which we profile in massive detail so that you can use the piety system to really interact with the gods. So there's just so much to be found in there for Dragonlance and Krynn if you're into that, or if you want to take these things and put them in another setting, of course. And it's available in print as hardcover or digital, or you can get both for this combo price, where there's no extra charge for the digital. So that's always very cool. Then we've also got Swarms of the Multiverse, which is over 180 pages dedicated to brand new monsters that have some sort of connection to swarms, whether it's they form swarms, they summon swarms, or they control swarms. Each of the 70 new monsters in this book have some sort of connection, and we give them lots of space in the book. Each monster gets a minimum of 2 pages, so you get lots of lore, you get tactics, you get a playlist of the moves that they would use on their stat block. So if you want to quickly run it without reading too much, you can just go through the playlist. We've also got associated things like magic items that are connected to some of the creatures, demi-planes, full demi-planes that you can explore with some of these creatures as well. Then we've got rules for you to create your own swarms that are balanced for 5th edition, so that's really helpful. And then we have other types of swarms, like environmental swarms that don't even have hit points, but are more like hazards or puzzles that your party will have to pass through on their way to whatever the next adventure is. So tons and tons of stuff to really bring swarms to life and help you make a swarm out of any creature, whether it's third party or an official Wizards release. You'll be able to confidently make those swarms using those balanced rules. And again, it's print or digital. Then we've also got our platinum bestsellers here with the Feywild Companion, which is over 150 pages devoted to the Feywild, the plane where everything is Fey, and it's really a fun place to explore. It's a little bit different than the material plane, so you can have a really unique experience that kind of turns things on its head. And this fits well with Wild Beyond the Witchlight or any other Fey experience that you want to have. It's got player subclasses, one for each class that connects to the Fae. It's got magic items, races, lineages. It's even got trinkets, a new type of item called Flowers of the Feywild, which is a new consumable that helps you really feel like you've gone to a fantastical place. But these flowers can be used as a consumable item or like an environmental hazard, which is fun. We got a brand new Domain of Delight with a beautifully illustrated map in the same style as the one in Wild Beyond the Witchlight for Prismeer. We've got full adventures, encounters, monsters. I mean, it's just jam-packed. VTT tokens, all that stuff if you buy the digital, but it's also available in print as well. So you're going to want to check that out. Then there's also our other platinum bestseller, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets. It's devoted to dragons. It's meant to tie into Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, but it can be used on its own. So you've got dragon-themed subclasses, one for each class. You've got trinkets. You've got magic items. You've got horde magic items, draconic gifts. So those things that are in Fizban's, we're expanding and giving you more. So you have more draconic gifts and more horde magic items. You get a brand new familiar, adventure hooks to tie everything together from the DM point of view, so you can make those subclasses NPCs or whatever you want to do. So it's really, really good. It's going to be a hardcover soon. So by the time you watch this, it might already be a hardcover. So you can get the hardcover and or the digital as well. Then we've got our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which is devoted to the new concept of lineages that was introduced in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. And it's really fun. It makes your race basically something very personal to you, because lineages are something that is sort of thrust upon your character. It's not how you were born. It's an experience that you've gone through, and it's changed you. And so these are very conflict-driven lineages suitable for any setting, not just Ravenloft. Got 4 of those in there. And then we've got optional rules on how to string those together, so you can go from one lineage to the next, or you can remove a lineage if there's some reason you want to go back to the original race, or just for story purposes you want to remove it. You have that option with this book. And then we've got Potions Unlocked, which is print or digital, and it's over 100 pages, and it's really devoted to taking potions, which are kind of a run-of-the-mill thing where you just say, oh, I'm going to take a healing potion, oh, I'm going to take a healing potion, and make them fun again. It's got optional rules for taste, smell, overdosing on these potions, how to craft the potions. Even with the 30 new potions in here with really cool artwork, we've gone and given you really in-depth origin stories for each of them that you can have a vendor relate to the players, or you can turn it into an encounter if you want to have the players be responsible for the creation of some of these potions. We even have potion-themed locations, including a potion shop with 2 different stories and a whole set of maps, so you can go to each of the layers of the potion shop, different vendors that are profiled with full inventory lists, a school where you can learn to craft potions and experience various encounters encounters and adventures. And then we've got magical plants and things that you can craft, harvest and craft your potions with. So tons and tons of stuff. The whole point of the Potions Unlocked, or any of the unlocked titles that we're going to do, is to really take something and take it to its limit, give you everything you could ever want, to be the authority on that topic almost, and just really deep dive. Our Swarms book is the same thing. It's anything you could ever want on Swarms. So if you're getting these books, we feel like you're going to have everything you could ever ask for that topic, and that's our goal for you, because we really want the money to go as far as it can, because we do try to keep our prices reasonable, and then by giving you everything we can, we're helping you have that for far into the future. You're going to have the ability to have potions or swarms or whatever our topic is come to your aid at your table. So we hope you'll support us and check out all these awesome titles. Feel free to ask questions in the comments or anywhere if you're interested and unsure. I'm always here to help you. But no matter what, I hope you're clicking links, supporting creators, whether it's us or the others out there, because this is an awesome industry. We're so proud to be part of the TTRPG space, and we appreciate you. So now let's move on to the other site and their new releases. Our first drive-thru title this week is Aquatic Adventures, the definitive old-school underwater source book by Night Owl Publishing, authors 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙗 𝘚 and Win Lothamer. And it's for old school essentials, BX, OSR, any of those style games. It says underwater settings have been a large part of old school gaming since the very beginning. Underwater kingdoms, hidden coastal coves, monsters shambling out of the deeps, creatures wondrous and strange and oft deadly, new magics and primal beings, and ancient wisdom. These are the reasons adventurers descend into the salty depths of the sea, the darkest forest, the deepest cave, the largest dragon. None can match the sea for sheer scope of the unknown. Aquatic Adventures provides you with the tools to create your perfect underwater world. There's a suggested world within the book, one that connects the various races of the sea by politics and ancient rivalries, but it's kept general enough to be portable to any world you are playing. The modularity of the world building means you can add the bits you like and ignore the ones that don't work for you. And you get 59 new magic items, including 16 legendary ones, 11 new spells, 8 new aquatic classes, 64 underwater monsters, new rules for adventuring beneath the water, lingomancy, an entire new kind of magic, new armor, new weapons, gods of the deep, and something called Dug Too Deep, which is an adventure set in a haunted land beneath the waves. So tons and tons of underwater goodness. Let's look inside. So very well organized. I like the layout. It reminds me a lot of old school essentials. So it seems like it dovetails nicely with those books. So if you have those, you're used to using those books, this is going to fit right in. So you can see there's some aquatic rules. It goes through the history of some of the races, because again, there's going to be information on the politics and the connections between the different underwater races. Some new rules there's a swimming mini game, underwater movement, underwater combat, then dealing with magic items and spell casting underwater, then terrain, everything from airy water all the way down to the abyss. You got water vessels, and then new classes like the aquatic elf, the deep hunter, etc., and then new equipment, new spells, and then lingomancy, as well as a bestiary with a ton of creatures, everything from an albatross all the way down to a zombie shark. Then you've got gods of the deep and new magic items, and then that adventure Dug Too Deep. So just a ton of stuff packed in here for the $15. It's 148 pages, so gonna get a lot for your money here. So yeah, it goes through welcome to the world beneath the waves, and it talks about how it works well with old school essentials or any BX rule set, which is helpful. And I love the artwork in here too. It's a lot of fun. So you're getting into the lore of the deep, the history. We'll look at some of these in just a minute. You've got the eel witch, 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙬, the 𝘽𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙬. So some fun races in here to read about in the preview. Let's read about the eel witch. So there's a nice quote here. It gives you their size, the amount living, and then some common names for them. It says eel witches are often considered nomadic wanderers scattered throughout the seas. However, they also have large societies in deep water caves, with the majority coming from one of three main cities. The first, Vinchester, is filled with acidic water and raging currents. The inclement weather has created a culture of introversion. Indoor parties based on the different tides happen several times a month. Only a few non-eel witches have ever attended such parties, and their tales are too strange to be believed. Revels where octopuses are pit against sharks, orgies of blood and eggs and darkness. These are the tamest parts of the tales. The city is ruled by a theocratic council called the Marked. Its members are chosen based on an elaborate system that few understand, including some of the Marked themselves. They, like the citizens themselves, have the strongest ties to the 𝙤𝙤𝙀 and other gods of the sea. The eel witches of Vinchester tend not to travel or socialize with non-eel witches. They lack empathy for other life forms, considering them no different than insects. They keep large zoos of such creatures filled with familiars and potential familiars. So that could be a whole story point. I mean, maybe the party gets captured by the eel witches and they're being put in a zoo and they have to get out of that zoo. Or they're being asked to infiltrate this eel witch reclusive culture and either document it or bring something back for maybe somebody else who can't be there because maybe they're not able to travel or they don't believe the legends of the eel witches, or maybe they're not strong enough to take on the dangers, and so they send the party to go in there and get something for their museum of underwater cultures or something, right? So many ways to interact with that, and this is just the beginning, right? They're not even getting into, this is the section where they're kind of giving you the politics of these races, right? So they're going into all the different nuances, and then later you get the stats for them if you're going to play as them or use them as enemies, etc. So much material to work with. Let's read a little bit about the 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙤. It says, the 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙤 live not in cities or towns, but in fortresses of stone and reclaimed jetsam. Their armies consistently trawl the deep for victims to sacrifice and for servants to man their fortresses, though they will avoid attacking obviously powerful forces. Most 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙀 are fostered in an environment of hate and cruelty and savage fiendishness. Not even the eel witches or 𝙬𝙬𝙀 can match their sheer untamed depravity. The vampiric overlords exert pure malicious wickedness over the fortresses, creating layer upon layer of malignance. If any 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙀 have managed to break away from this, no record remains of their attempt. The vampiric overlords have a stranglehold over their subjects. Alas, their cruelty is not for its own sake. The 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙀 plan on conquering every race under the sea. The Senzerikan's power has so far held them at bay, but 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙀 believe they are now powerful enough to overcome even them. So these are really interesting races. I think they're really detailed. I love how different they are and how dangerous they are. These are probably some of the most dangerous ones I've seen for underwater, and I think they're cool. I would love to see somebody combine the world of this book with some of the others we've covered, like the Underwater Campaigns book for 5th edition and the Atlantis Compendium for 5th edition as well, because I think the combination of these three books, you could have this basically a whole world underwater. Because there's so much material between those three books. And this one gives you the old school essentials statistics and stuff, so you could use it for that system or convert to 5th edition to work with those other books. But I just love it. I love reading about this stuff because it's so rare that people really dive underwater and deal with these things, but they really go right into the deep end with this, with the detail, and I love that so much. So much to be had in here. I mean, just little things for every part of the game, whether it's spells, items, classes, equipment, and adventure. I mean, this is truly a comprehensive supplement, so I encourage you to purchase it and to check it out. It is under Aquatic Adventures and the links below, so give it a click. Next, we have the Blight of Bristlenak, a 7th level adventure from Craven's Keep for 5th edition, $4.99 for 20 pages. And it says it's an adventure designed and optimized for 4 players at that level, but it works well set in a city or a small town near a large forest. It can also be set in a forest known to be haunted or cursed. The Abyss is an infinite realm of chaotic and festering evil that seeks to destroy all life in the multiverse. On one of the layers of the Abyss resides a deep forest of undulating trees, slithering vines, and bubbling tar pits. Within this forest lived the demon Bristlenak, a writhing mass of black, oily briars who sought a way to escape his prison and unleash his essence on the material plane. Such an opportunity came to him on the bitter whispers of a desperate person. The person was a high elf lord named Nerozan Sunspeak, and he wished to curse on his former best friend who ruined his life. He pleaded with the spirits of the woods to dispose of the elf who stole his wife and position within the heights of the kingdom so he could know vengeance. So sounds like a fun backstory to the adventure, and there's more to it that you can read, but I want to get to some of the interior here. But it's got 2 mini and 1 major boss. It's got full color battle maps, 3 illustrated magic items that are brand new, as well as some token macros to help speed up play. So very cool. So here you get to see a little bit of the PDF. So you got the plot, the background, how to use the book, and then some adventure hooks, which is nice. And then there's general features like ceiling. It talks about what you would have for the ceiling, the lighting, the walls, the floors, the doors, all that stuff. Even something about echor here. It says the pools of thick and sticky echor present are all 5 feet deep. If a creature becomes at least half submerged in the echor, it must succeed on a strength saving throw or become restrained. Each round a creature is restrained this way. They are dealt necrotic damage. And I love this map. It looks so cool with all the squiggly lines, especially thinking about the echor everywhere. And you got the nest entry, and then here's this tree that looks to have like some golden apples on it. And then you get the 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙧, which might be the name of that tree. So, oh yeah, it is. It says the tree is called 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙧, see appendix, who remains dormant until the characters attack it or try to get its apples. If awoken, 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙧 opens its eyes and begins an assault, trying to grab and constrict any creature within range. 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙧 was once an ordinary tree inside which lived a dryad protector. When Bristlenak emerged from the abyss, its dark layer of vines formed around the tree and warped into a fearsome monster. When the demonic presence of Bristlenak awoke the tree, the dryad was killed, but not before one last act of goodness. The dryad placed a spell on the tree, causing it to grow golden apples that provide a great boon to any creature who eats them. So that's cool. The ceiling of this is 30 feet high. Treasures, the fruits in the tree are 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙧's golden apples, which are also in the appendix. There are approximately 30 of them. Their peels are worth 2 GP each and keep for 1d6 plus 2 days before rotting. So that's cool. You get this golden apple tree. I love the backstory of that too. This dryad dying and trying to save its beloved tree. Oh, that's so cool. And I really do appreciate when a book gives you this sort of environmental detail for things, because sometimes people don't cover all those things and then you have to invent it, which can be fun too, but it's nice to have it all spelled out for you. So we'll read one of the adventure hooks here. Rot in the woods. As the characters venture through a forest on their way to a town or city, they notice some of the greenery is coated in a strange tar-like ichor. A little further, they see the vegetation becomes brown, yellow, and lifeless. This blight seems to become more severe as they head deeper into the wood. With enough walking, they eventually reach the black nest, continue to the approach section below. So yeah, look at this. It looks so cool. Thinking about entering that, I mean, you'd have to be pretty brave. And then inside, this is kind of what it looks like here with all the squiggly lines. I love it. So well done. They always do such beautifully organized stuff in Craven's Keep. Everything goes well together. The artwork is connected, in this case by Colton Belsky, and it looks beautiful. So I think this would be really fun little adventure, some characters maybe that you could reuse. Maybe this tree, you have to go back to it and get some of the apples occasionally because maybe they're really popular. But in any case, it looks really fun. So look for it in the links below under the Blight of Bristlenak and give it a click. Next, we have the Book of Blades, Expanding the Barbarian by Celeste Conowitch and Kobold Press. It's $3.99 for 13 pages, and it says, make Melee amazing with the first installment of our new series, Book of Blades, Expanding the Barbarian. This 13-page supplement provides real-world tactical inspiration, new player options, fabled weapons, and flavor tables to make playing barbarians a blast. So you get player and GM options. So you get the Path of the Undying subclass, and then you get a Gravekeeper background. You also get historical and fictional inspiration to add role-playing barbarians, or to aid role-playing barbarians. You get 4 new fabled magic weapons and mighty deeds to enhance their power. And you get 20 battle cries and curses to make your barbarian sound awesome. So become a warrior of legend with Book of Blades, Expanding the Barbarian. So it's for 5th edition. There's also, I want you to notice, a bundle down here where they've released 4 in the series already this week, and you can add those together in a bundle to get a better deal on all of those. So pretty cool. We only cover 1 title per publisher per week, so we couldn't cover all of them, but I was excited to be able to include one, and it just looks like a lot of fun. Celeste really seems to understand barbarians, and that's awesome. So you've got this really beautiful artwork here, so fun to look at. And then you get an introduction talking about a tactical overview, inspiration, fictional inspiration, historical inspiration to kind of help you get in the frame of mind of dealing with a barbarian. Then you got the tactics here. We're going to look at all of this. I'm just kind of giving you an overview. Then you get the character options with the path here and all of its features, and then you get the background, and you get to look at a lot of that here. So quite a good selection to look at. I mean, 5 of the 13 pages, that's almost half the book, so very, very cool. So it says, studying the fictional and historical inspirations that led to the barbarian class can help you bring the ferocity of your barbarian characters to life. The following sections highlight sources of major inspiration to get you started. So fictional inspiration, the biggest pop culture inspiration for the modern fantasy barbarian class is uncontestably the character of Conan the Barbarian from Robert E. Howard, of course. So thinking about that is helpful. And then it says the word barbarian has been used in a multitude of ways throughout history, but the barbarian archetype commonly portrayed in the fantasy genre is primarily inspired by the wide variety of people who took up arms against the Roman Empire in the centuries before its fall in AD 476. Barbarians in this context encompass many different non-Roman cultures spread across Eastern Europe, Asia, and North Africa. While it is impossible to account for all the unique qualities of these various peoples, barbarians were generally considered enemies of civilization because they were often organized into tribal or nomadic societies. So, a lot of times other is the enemy, right? Different is the enemy. And so leaning into that, if you're developing a barbarian and, maybe the barbarian group is considered an outcast of whatever other society is in the area, and so you can lean into that, or you can have it go the other way. Maybe the barbarians have taken over an area and the people that once lived there are considered outcasts, right? So see the inspiration that you're getting just from reading through this. So that's very helpful. It talks about tactics, and then the subclass. Let's look at the Path of the Undying. So barbarians who walk the Path of the Undying rarely choose it for themselves. They are set on this course by the heavy hand of destiny. Undying barbarians all possess a soul that has crossed into death, then been pulled back into the world of the living by extraordinary magical means. Returning from true death is a turbulent process that shatters a soul, then reforges it into something entirely new. Creatures in possession of such souls are often psychically scarred by the experience, but they gain a measure of mastery over death. Those who walk this path can't be pulled into death until their destiny, the reason their soul returned, is fulfilled. So it's like they've been basically dead, brought back to life through magic, extraordinary magic. Now they have this odd connection to death, and they're scarred mentally, and then they can't die until they've fulfilled their destiny, which is the reason they're back. So love that as a backstory. That'd be so fun to play as a character. Really exploring that and trying to understand, why did I come back, and what does this mean, and all of that stuff, right? You could really have some fun dialogue with that. So starting at third level, whenever you begin your turn with a number of hit points less than your barbarian levels, you may expend one of your hit dice to recover hit points equal to the number rolled plus your constitution modifier. No action required. You can use this feature while unconscious, but not if you are dead. So yeah, that could be helpful for sure. And then starting at third level as well, you become possessed by supernatural wrath when you enter your rage. While you are raging once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force them to make a wisdom saving throw with a DC equal to 10 plus your proficiency bonus. On a failed save, the creature is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Additionally, you deal an extra 1d6 psychic damage whenever you hit a creature that is frightened of you with a weapon attack. So nice, building on that fear, and then doing some of the psychic damage, kind of like the scarring that you have. So we're going to skip some of the abilities because I want you to check them out for yourself. So let's look at the last one. Starting at 14th level, death no longer desires you. If you die and your body is destroyed, your soul remains. After 24 hours, your soul inhabits and animates another humanoid corpse on the same plane of existence, and the body returns to life with all your hit points. Upon awakening, you recall your former life and experiences. You retain the capabilities you had in your original form, except you exchange your original race for the new one. And you change your racial traits accordingly. That's a really fun capstone ability, that you can basically die and be reborn as something else. I love that. That's cool, and it's called Rejected by Death. So really cool. Yeah, fun stuff. Celeste is cooking up here for you. So you've got Gravekeeper as well. So this background, you have spent your life tending the dead and helping the living celebrate memories of the departed. Whether you have spent time conducting the funerary rites of one culture or many, you intuitively understand loss and the many ways mortal creatures cope with death. You are familiar with all aspects of laying the dead to rest, including preparing corpses, performing burials, conducting memorial services, and maintaining grave sites. If you come from a small and remote community, you may have been the sole conductor of all those services. So that's a really fun roleplay opportunity too, because I mean, this is a fantasy world, right? So you could create traditions that don't exist in the real world. You could say, okay, before we lay this person to rest, we have to find this feather, and we're going to work it into this little thing that we're going to bury with the corpse. Whatever you're going to come up with, you could invent that as a player, of course with your DM's consent, if it's something that could impact the world. But you see, there's a lot of narrative opportunities there, because really, D&D is about storytelling, and the players and the DMs working together to tell a story. So you could really create some stories with that. You also get, some of the normal things, like you can choose 2 from history, insight, medicine, or religion. You get 2 languages of your choice, some cool equipment, and then you have this feature called No Stranger to Death. As a gravekeeper, you are afforded great respect and reverence by people with religious or cultural practices that honor the dead. When asked to do so, you can perform secular funeral rites in exchange for money, access to lodging, gratitude, or other compensation deemed appropriate by the GM. So yeah, there you could work it right in with the feature, because you can get paid to do some of this stuff, and then act it out a little bit with some role play. And then the suggested characteristics, we'll just read as if we rolled a 1 on all of these to give you some flavor of what lies in these tables. But there's the personality trait, ideal, bond, and flaw. So the first personality trait is, I memorize the names of every person I bury. I love that. That fits perfectly. Ideal memory, it's our duty to honor the memory of those we have lost. Yep, that works. Bond, I have seen too much suffering at the hands of the restless dead, and I refuse to let it happen again. So that's cool. You can play that too, having maybe your character is really not willing to let people die. Like maybe they take risks in order to prevent death, and maybe that causes some conflict because maybe they were too risky, right? Or other things can happen as a result of that. And then you have the flaw, I struggle to relate to the living and have anguish that people won't like me because of what I do. So yeah, that's true. I mean, even in the real world, there's people that work at mortuaries, etc., and sometimes they get some people acting weird around them or being uncomfortable because of what they do, and it's like, you know, the whole don't judge a book by its cover thing, right? Like people are more than one thing. So you could have that play out as well. Even as the DM, you could have a character hear about that and then change how they're behaving, and then you could work through that in the game. And it's an opportunity to think about things. So love this, love everything I've read. I feel like every single thing I've read in here is triggering ideas for me as either a player or even if I was to DM. So, you know, that's a home run. That's a winner in a book. You want that. You want a book like this that triggers so many ideas for storytelling and really inspires your creativity as a player and a DM. So, I think you need to check it out. And don't forget, there's a bundle here of a bunch of these. So look for it in the video description links. It's under Book of Blades, Expanding the Barbarian. Give it a click. Next, we have 𝘬𝙤's magnificent walking marketplace, and I absolutely adore this cover, and the book as well, which you'll see in a minute. I'm adding it to my wish list when I'm done recording because I definitely want to get this. It is so cool. I mean, look at this walking marketplace. It's got legs that is moving around and is walking, and this guy, the way the artist depicted this, just the joy of like, look at my, you know, whether it's his creation or he owns it or he just is, you know, whatever. It says 𝘬𝙤's magnificent walking marketplace, so I'm assuming this is 𝘬𝙤. But yeah, this cover is just perfectly telling the story for me anyway. So it's from Unlimited Realms Limited, and it is $30 for 296 pages, and it's authors Matthew Bailey and David Carey. It says, crowdfunded by over 2,000 adventurers who smashed our funding goal by over 600%. I can see why. I mean, the art and concept is so great. So it says, 𝘬𝙤's magnificent walking marketplace is designed to help tabletop role players build a more interesting and immersive shopping experience through new content and drag and drop setting. Prepare for intriguing new mechanics such as item modifications and gold for XP, and excite your players with over 240 original magic items. There's also a plethora of new character creation options, including new races, subclasses, and backgrounds that reflect the theme of commerce. Finally, all this content is wrapped up in a unique story that can be placed into any pre-existing campaign with a vast array of side quests, NPCs, and lore that can easily be tailored to fit within your story. So tons of stuff. I mean, it's a walking marketplace that's run by the mysterious 𝘬𝙤, a powerful magic-wielding merchant. Buildings sprout out of the enormous central tree like an unnatural growth kept aloft by 4 crab-like mechanical legs of bronze. The marketplace is designed to be fully customizable according to the requirements of the game master, as traveling ability lets you simply drag and drop it into the world wherever and whenever needed. And its magical properties allow for new buildings to grow when desired. The flexibility of the walking marketplace will be both an invaluable narrative tool for any game master and a memorable set piece for players of all ages. So cool. I mean, just so much to see in here, and there's even a little video you can watch down here. But I mean, I just love the art. I mean, look at this artwork. The cover was stunning, and now we're looking at the ground level. So you've got Oliver's ship, you've got the plaza, 𝘬𝙤's tavern, 𝘬𝙤's office, the bazaar, the orb, the kitchen. And then you got the basement with an engine room and storage, etc. And then the heart of the tree, where you have the clubhouse, Fantasia's cottage, Build-A-Bobble, and, you know, a bunch of stuff going on. And then the canopy, which is further up, you've got, it looks like 𝘎𝙤𝙗's greenhouse and Evia's chapel. So just so much to enjoy with this. I really love the artwork and how it's laid out. So you get the character creation, you get the races, including gold elementals, DriveThruRPG, subclasses like the broken equation for the wizard, the treasure hunter for the ranger, the oath of prophets for the paladin. Backgrounds from banker to street entertainer, some feats, and then the gazetteer of the place, this you know, magnificent marketplace, and then you get the items from A to Z or A to X, it looks like, and then you know, some appendix with item modifications, gold for XP, you know, those optional rules. So I mean, it's just packed with stuff. I mean, it's hard to know what is going to be the most interesting because, I mean, look at this artwork. It's just so beautiful. So yeah, you can use it as a place to call a home base. You can use it to as a place to find something. Maybe something's hidden there. You can use it as a place to go shopping and sell stuff or buy stuff that you need. I mean, and the fact that it's walking means that it could be in one place and then later in another place, right? So definitely something that is much more portable than other places. And because it has these options to add new places in it, I think that's going to be great too, because maybe you already have some sort of magical shop that pops in and out, and maybe it makes its permanent home here. Or maybe you have a merchant character that the trade district got destroyed by a fire, and so they decide to move on and go somewhere else, and then they find this place and they set up shop there. Whatever, you can weave in your stuff because it's really modular. So let's just read a little bit about the overview, because we're not getting to see some of the subclasses in this preview, but that's okay because I trust that they're going to be good, because look at how beautiful this book is. It says the walking marketplace is a venue of hustle and bustle, an exciting oddity in a magical world. Reaching the majestic heights of a tall castle, the marketplace is an amalgamation of log buildings, stone towers, brass pipes, metal chimneys, and luscious vegetation that bursts through the enormous trunk of the mother tree. This beautiful monstrosity is kept aloft by 4 crab-like mechanical legs of bronze and copper. The base is a mass of roots, earth, and stone, through which windows and small buildings weave in and out of the earth. Small walkways spiral their way through the huddled masses and up the trunk, a colossal behemoth of a tree that dwarfs even the tallest of towers. Climbing upwards, the mother tree seems to sprout numerous buildings that protrude from its bark-like obscure growths. A mass of wood forms the hull of a giant ship, with multiple sails flapping in the breeze. An industrial metal sphere squats precariously atop the tiled roof of a quaint-looking tavern, and an enormous branch twists skywards, morphing into a tower of stone. From every branch and every balcony, a lantern or awning is guaranteed to flutter, dappling the tower with color and light. Amidst the leaf canopy, a cottage is perched on its own platform, surrounded by a colorful garden, while on the opposite side, the small grounds of a quiet graveyard shimmer against the golden, ghostly visage of a chapel. The top is crowned with a glimmering glass house, an emerald jewel atop a dome of vibrant green. So many things to look at, so many things to consider. I mean, even a little cemetery here, and you can see there's the ship in there, there's the greenhouse at the top. I mean, if you live in just a run-of-the-mill village and this thing starts creeping up, I mean, the wonders, the excitement for people, or the fear this is going to create. Maybe you're hired to protect this place. So many options. I want to read it. I think it's going to be fun. So I'm going to add it to my wish list and try to get a copy at some point, because it looks so cool. I mean, look at this guy, Siren. He's loving it. And some of the little construct characters that are going to be in there as well. So check it out. It's in the links below under Siren's magnificent walking marketplace. Give it a click. Next, we have D20 Weird and Wonderful Rings from Vertiger's Table and Ryan Doyle. It's on sale for $1, normally $1.99 for 16 pages. It says, Rings of Magic. The rings on the following pages could be discovered in treasure hoards, offered up as quest rewards, or serve as a magical MacGuffin a patron of the party seeks. They could also be found in the hands of an enemy and used against the characters before they ever get an opportunity to enjoy the benefits for themselves. They are offered in an easily shareable, mobile-friendly manner, then in more traditional printable format that doubles as a roll table. So they've got you covered here with printer friendly and mobile friendly. So, and you can see that when you look inside, it kind of fits nicely on a page, and because it's you can print this almost like a card and say, here's everything on this particular ring. So, or a couple rings here. It looks like there's 2 per page. So, but yeah, they look really cool. I love the lava on this one. This one's forest. It's got like some forest artwork. Ice. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through real quickly so you can see. And then at the end, you've got a table to roll and get those things as well. So let's pick a ring to read for you. Let's start with the very first one. So we've got Ring of the Bower. It's rare. It says once per day allows the wearer to polymorph into a dryad for 1 hour using the dryad statistics, spells, and abilities. The wearer also gains knowledge of Sylvan and Elvish while maintaining the use of any other languages known in their original form. So that could be fun, to become a dryad for a little bit, and once per day. Let's go look at this Ring of the Floor is Lava. It's rare. This ring grants the wearer resistance to fire damage and the ability to walk across lava and magma without a penalty to movement speed. Once per day, the wearer can transform a 25 square foot area centered on themselves into liquid hot magma for 1 minute. The magma is considered difficult terrain. A creature takes 5d10 fire damage when it enters the magma for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. So yeah, that could be really advantageous. You could make something really tricky for a enemy group. Maybe they get, they can't get to the other side to get to your allies. Maybe they're kind of stationary and you place this under them, so then they have to decide, do I leave or do I stay here and take this damage, or whatever. But yeah, that could be really fun. Yeah, I like that, and I like the art on the little lava ring here too. So one more. Ring of Forest Friendship, rare, has 6 charges, regaining 1d4 each day at dawn. The wearer can expend charges to cast the following spells: Animal Friendship, which costs 1 charge, or Locate Animals or Plants, 2 charges, Speak with Animals for 1, or Speak with Plants for 3. So yeah, those could be super helpful, and I like the way it looks. It's like a leaf woven into some green metal. So yeah, these are fun, and you can print them, and they're only $1, so why not grab 16 rings here, or I'm not sure, is it 16? I'm not sure how many, but there's a good assortment of them in this for only $1. So look for it under D20 Weird and Wonderful Rings and give it a click. Next we have Shipwrecks of the Astral Sea, the Gilded Molly, written and illustrated by Jerry Joe Seltzer. And it is $9.95 for 14 pages. And it says your Spelljammer slows down due to the proximity of another vessel. It is a fish-shaped ship, gnomish in design and seemingly adrift. Upon approach, your crew notices that the ship has been captured within a colossal gelatinous cube. As the crew explores, they will unravel the tragic tale of the Gilded Molly. They will learn how passion and greed led the ship into a collision course with disaster. This is a story of love, longing, and laughter. It is a lighthearted adventure for a party of 4 to 6 level characters. As they delve into the depths of this abandoned ship, they will discover the unfortunate fate of its crew. So really cool. There's tokens, artwork here for you to use as well. And this is one of several. There's other ones by this author. I saw another one come out this week, but as you know, we only cover one per publisher per week. So look for the other Astral Sea, Shipwrecks of the Astral Sea titles. You can click on Seltzer here, and it'll take you to the other titles as well. But looking inside, sorry, I closed that. So you get to, it's wide because when you get to the bottom, there's the big picture down here of the gelatinous cube with the ship, which is cool. You can see somebody even floating in there, a skeleton or something floating, which I think is a couple of skeletons. There's one down there, a barrel, etc. So really fun stuff. You can see that there's a map of all the different parts of the ship, including many numbered locations. So lots to explore there. But let's zoom in and read a little bit of the flavor text. It says, a massive goldfish floats in space ahead of you. Soon it becomes clear that this is a ship designed to look fish-like. The ship is completely quiet and the top deck is empty of crew. A few motionless skeletons float nearby the ship. At the ship's nose is a large door which looks like the fish's open mouth. And then they have to make a perception check to notice that it's captured by the gelatinous cube. You realize the ship isn't floating freely in space. It is captured inside of a gigantic transparent cube. Only the nose of the ship with its large cargo door is protruding outside of the cube. There are skeletal bodies, barrels, crates, and other small objects also visible inside the cube's form. The side of the ship bears the name the Gilded Molly. And then, so you're supposed to show them the picture. And then it talks about how you attack the cube, and then you get into all the different rooms. And there's a lot of them. We're only seeing a few of the pages here, but I mean, look at how many different rooms are going to be detailed and how much there is to explore. I mean, if you're playing Spelljammer, you need stuff like this to explore because wild space is so vast. Or even if you're not, if you're doing some other sort of sci-fi or Spelljammer like thing, you're going to need this. So I love this. I think it's fun. You could probably redo this at sea, maybe. Maybe there's a sea gelatinous cube if you don't want to go into space. So you could probably tweak it a little bit to have it be in the sea. You'd have to just say, you know, hey, I'm going to show you this. It looks like it's in space, but it's just deep underwater or whatever, right? So you could do some fun like that. I mean, there's a lot of ways to use this, but I like it. I like that it has such beautiful artwork and fun concepts for you to explore. I mean, the gelatinous cube is always interesting. So check it out. It's under the Gilded Molly in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Chris's Compendium of Trade Goods, system neutral setting compendium of trade goods to be used to bolster world building. And it's $6.99, normally $8, and 31 pages. Author Christian Mustiata. And it is really cool. I was looking through it earlier. I think this is really helpful. And as I said, it's system neutral. So whether you play old school Essentials, 5th edition, Pathfinder, even, you know, other things like Dungeon World, this is going to be helpful. It says a high quality compendium of trade goods that can be used to bolster your world building steps by creating more fleshed out regions. This is an updated product of a previous work, so that's good. More than 250 fruits, vegetables, and potions are fully described with an associated picture attached for quick reference. There's foods, alchemist herb tools, seeds, potions, cloth, logs, lumber, ore, metal, gemstones, and production. And then there's a bundle down here where if you want to get it in print as well as a few fruit and vegetables pack or a common item pack, you can. But let's look inside. This book, you get to see 27 of the 31 pages, so you get to see almost everything. I'm just going to reduce it for a second so you can see the enormity of it. I mean, every single item has a little picture, and so you can really imagine, okay, what is this thing that we're trading in? You know, from bricks made of clay to chalk to long straw to soot to topaz to violet garnet to lapis lazuli, canary diamonds. You know, every type of gemstone is described. Ingots, lead, selenium, electrum, different types of wood. You've got hickory planks and maple logs, and you know, so you have a caravan that's going somewhere, and one of your players says, well, what are they carrying? You could say, well, one of them has cashmere wool, and the other wagon is carrying maple planks, and the other one's got some selenium, you know, whatever, right? You can pick from these items. Also, when you go into a shop, you can talk about the different, you know, plants, whether they're selling sunberries or spring water. You can use those. You can have these be ingredients for magical items that you want them to create, or things that they need to eat. Because we've talked about this many times on this channel that when you just use real world items all the time, it can get kind of boring and not feel like a different place. But when you mix real world items, like you're seeing apple and apricots and things here with fantastical things, it becomes more interesting. And so it feels like you're actually going to some other place. So thankfully this book has not only a lot of ordinary things with good descriptions that you can use on the fly, but also a lot of fantastical things, you know, for the sweet shop to sell. With pictures, like you've got adder venom here and bearberry. I mean, these are made up things. So under bearberry, for example, it says a lot of gatherers, herbalists, and alchemists grow bearberries around their workplaces, as it is assumed that they attract bees and hummingbirds to help with pollination, and honey and butterflies to harvest their wings. The bearberry fruit is used very loosely in medicine, mainly in medicinal teas. Bearberries are also used by leather workers as a tanning agent to turn hides into leather. So maybe you give character some sort of tea, right? and it gives them a boon or some sort of buff, right? And then later they're like, well, I wanna recreate that. How do I do it? You can go through here and pick things like God's Wrath or Horsetail or Hyacinth, and say, okay, you need, this many of that, this many of this, and you got to put it to a boil or whatever, right? And then you have your tea. So lots of options, and I love all the pictures. So here's a homemade counteractant. It says some of the commoners use quite a bit of lemon in creating these solutions with other materials that they can find, which in return might have some adverse reactions, sometimes leading to blindness or skin diseases after the concoction explodes or has other unforeseen and unfortunate side effects. However, it is still common practice to create your own, as the price for a store-bought one is usually outside of what a regular commoner can afford. Alchemists try to provide warnings of these issues, however, they mostly fall on deaf ears. So it's some sort of counteractant for things that they might take, like laudanum down here, or mania potions, or some of these other potions. So you got the potion of shared memories. With the help of religious folk, a specific spell is carved onto the bottle, similar to a scroll, but the scribe spell gets absorbed into the bottle itself, leaving no mark on it. This potion is speculated to tie thoughts, memories, and overall life experiences between the drinkers of this potion. However, this effect only lasts a brief second, enough to share a memory or a small series of events. So, really cool. Yeah, just even the pictures, be able to say, oh, it looks like this. It's a stack of pine logs, or it's a fir log, or it's this or that. I think it's going to come in really handy, because you need to have this on hand when players start asking questions, or you need some little something to fill in. I mean, we have bestiaries to fill places with monsters. Why not have something like this to fill trade goods? So look for it. It's in the links below under Chris's Compendium of Trade Goods. Give it a click. Next, we have magic items and exotic equipment from Night Vision Creative, $7.99 for 29 pages. Author Brendan Jonesbrandt, and it's for 5th edition. The book is a standalone magic item vault for Creed's Codex Arcane Secrets of the Summoners. Exotic equipment has also been included, the base for several magic items. So you get 29 magic items with additional 24 rarity variations, armors, rings, staves, weapons, and wondrous magical items included with suggested prices, flavored text for each of the items, 11 exotic equipment, and then 3 feats, as well as exotic equipment crafting rules. So it goes through the prices, gives you a whole table to show you whether requires attunement, and if it's consumable, and the different prices, and then you get into the different ones with variants, which I really appreciate, and these look really nice. So this one, the Armor of Renewal, it says it has 8 charges. As a reaction, whenever you take damage while wearing this armor, you can expend 1 charge to heal 1 creature you can see for 1d4 hit points. You can spend more than 1 charge in this way, healing an additional creature for each additional charge spent. The armor regains expended charges daily at dawn. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the armor immediately triggers the power of convergence, requiring you to roll on the convergence table. So there's a convergence table that you roll on. It says rare variant creatures are now healed for 1d8 hit points, very rare 1d12, and legendary 1d20. And then also with legendary, in addition, you can use an action to cast the heal spell on a creature other than yourself. The ability to cast the spell refreshes once you have lost 70 hit points. And then it gives you a whole bunch of lore. So it says it was once a cleric's order's answer to an age-old problem of protecting their allies. A spindly wizard or fragile summoner may provide a lot of utility and flexibility to overcome issues facing adventurers. Still, they are less resilient in many ways than their heavily armored brethren. Knowing that it is easier to redirect energy rather than create it, the clerics designed the Armor of Renewal to modify some of the damage taken through a highly prized but highly secretive magical formula. There are plans for an extremely powerful version of the armor that would amplify this magic further, granting even greater healing. However, it is unknown if anyone built the most powerful version of this item. So, fun lore that you can use, and then there's even more here, more text for you. But think about the Armor of Exsanguination. That looks really cool. I love the art for that. The Armor of the Golden Squirrel. And then even magic item modifications boxes. So rather than each item being standalone, you can introduce a method of modifying existing equipment to take on a characteristic of another equipment type. For example, suppose a player has mithril armor. They may want to modify it to mithril armor of the golden squirrel and gain the benefit of both items. As a guideline, making a magical version of a non-magical equipment should cost the price of the magic item minus the cost of the equipment to gain the benefit of the two magic items, such as mithril armor and the armor of the golden squirrel. The price would likely start at 1.5 times the cost of the more expensive magic item. So yeah, I'll give you some guidance on how to let people get creative and maybe keep the armor they have and tweak it. So I think that could be useful. But it says, while wearing this armor, you gain a climbing speed equal to your movement speed. You have advantage on dexterity acrobatic checks, and when falling, you glide to an unoccupied space no more than double the distance of the height you fell and take no damage. If there isn't space to land, you collide with an object in range and take the full fall damage. So, pretty cool. I like that. It's it definitely sounds like what a squirrel would do, right? So it's nice to see that it ties in well with the squirrel. And again, this can work well with Night Vision's other books on the Creed's Codex for the summoners. So maybe you summon a squirrel or whatever, right? So fun stuff. I love the options in here, and that there's even some feats that we didn't get to see, but they're in here. And there's also some crafting rules and guidance for things like pricing and stuff. That's always helpful for DMs. So check it out. It's under Magic Items and Exotic Equipment in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have the Monster Overhaul, a practical bestiary by Skirples, and it's $30 for 336 pages. It's already a best copper seller, meaning it's already sold 51 copies in its first week, and it is such a fun book from what I've seen so far. I definitely am adding this to my wish list when I'm done with this video. It says, what's a sphinx without a riddle, or a minotaur without a labyrinth? What's a dragon without a horde, or a peasant without a grievance? The Monster Overhaul is a massive role-playing game bestiary designed for at-table utility. Monsters are presented alongside useful tools ready for immediate use in any scenario. So this is system neutral. The book aims to provide a GM with the tools they need as they need them without slowing down a session. In the middle of the game, a GM doesn't need to be told that bears live in caves or that ghosts hunt graveyards. They know that. What they need are interesting prompts that are difficult to invent under pressure, such as names, details, motivations, secrets, riddles, maps, twists, etc. Numbers are calibrated around old school fantasy adventure game principles. The book should be compatible with that and has been tested against the most popular and enduring OSR systems, basically. So you get 200 plus monsters, 160 plus pieces of original art, 20 plus maps, random encounter tables, indexes, and a host of other tools. So really fun. I mean, I was looking through this earlier, and it's just, so cool. I think for any fantasy game, you could use this. It might be best suited for old school, but I could see it used for 5th edition or other things. So it gives you, the broken down by chapter of different types of creatures. So you got people, so humanoids, you've got dungeon creatures, dragons, thinking beasts, heraldic beasts, some interesting categories. And then reaction rolls, bestials, reasons for an encounter. So bestial could be hunger, territorial display, habitat loss, but intelligence could be extortion or reverence or offer of allegiance. Where they find you indoors, so barn, highly flammable, cave mouth, damp, treacherous. Great tables for all kinds of things. The local attitude, weary indifference, ruthlessly abominated. It just every table is giving you these options to explain the why questions, the answers to the why questions, because you're going to get those questions. But those are just kind of the organizational tables that we looked at. When you start getting in here, you get to see how detailed this is. So it goes into the people, so you got adventurer, barbarian, cultist, knight. So these are the quote unquote monsters, right? And then you've got giant spiders, flying lizards, swift lizards, elementals, elemental spirits, wizards. It just goes on. Centaurs. So many options, all the way down to sci-fi even they've got in here. and then sidebars. So it says, I know there is a strong temptation to skip ahead to the monsters and illustrations, but if you spend a few minutes reading this section, the rest of the book will make a lot more sense. So it's meant to be an at-table utility. And it says, in the middle of the game, the GM doesn't need to be told, about the bears and stuff, but they do need to know names, details, motivations, secrets, riddles, maps, etc. So it shows you how it's divided into 20 chapters of 10 monsters. To pick an entry at random, you can just roll a d20. You can combine them to create settings. They've got a monster menu, and then there's even some mechanical jargon here that's covered, and monster stats and effects, immobilized, paralyzed, regenerating, all of that, fear, aging, charm, and then you get into random encounter information, tactics, what is a monster, and then finally we get to people, which is the first sort of category of monsters. RPG settings should feel complex and inhabited. The world is larger than the narrow view of the PCs. Their story is just one among many. Not all encounters will be relevant, but chance meetings can alter the course of an entire campaign. The background bustles, nothing occurs in isolation. People can provide information about the world in a natural and subtle way. A single vivid detail can summon mere imagery than pages of tedious backgrounds text read aloud by an indifferent GM to a half-listening group. Creating completely neutral setting-less entries for this chapter proved impossible. I chose a generic medieval base with some standard Western fantasy twists and exceptions. The results should be broadly adaptable to many settings. So you can see there's a omen thing here. It says bubbling barks and yelps, clattering hooves, trumpets, and shouts. So that's a cross-reference omen, and it relates to one questing beast pursued by 1d6 knights on horseback. Another one is mumbling insults, lists of obscure herbs, sparks of magic. It relates to a homunculus that listens to incoherent orders of a wizard who should be taking notes. So fun stuff. I mean, just even these omens. I mean, they're just kind of like a few random things that you could throw at a player and be like, oh, there's this going on. There's ankle deep purple fog and embers and furious whispers in your vision, and you don't know what that means. But then you find out it's a genie and merchants. So random encounters with people. Here's your omens. Here's your encounter. Combined omen. Where they find you. Out of doors, indoors, and then minor creatures like a flock of sparrows that might be there. And here's a generic village, and shows you different locations in the generic inn. So I mean, this is really just preparing you as described to just have this at the ready. Something comes up, you flip to a page, you roll the dice, and you move forward, because it's got the answers. It's got the answers to the why questions. And a lot of these, I mean, these omens, you can be using those with 5th edition, any fantasy game, right? Even sci-fi games, they've got you covered with sci-fi stuff too, because you could adapt all of this. I love it. I love how easy it is to read, how well organized it is. I'm a big table person, so as soon as I saw this, I was like, I gotta wish list this when I'm done with the video, because it is so cool. So I hope you check it out and overhaul your monsters with the Monster Overhaul, and look for it in the links. It's under Monster Overhaul. Give it a click. Next we have Sand and Blood, Tomb of Aten-Nefru. It says, delve deep into the tomb of an ancient pharaoh queen in this adventure for 5th edition, and it's a suggested price of $0 for 28 pages. I do suggest always paying something, and you can pay $0 to start, and then as you read it, figure out what it's worth to you, and then come back and pay. But we do want to support creators like Azkalian Traveler here and DPS Romano, who put together this book. And it says it's a horror-themed adventure that's heavily influenced by Egyptian culture and film. Herein you'll find descriptions and challenges to present to both characters and players as they get into all sorts of trouble while exploring the tomb of an ancient pharaoh. It says it's got easily adaptable hooks and lore, a story that mixes both past and present events via descriptive visions of the past, challenging combat and puzzles for 4 to 6 player characters, a unique set of optional madness rules and mechanics, dungeon with 17 locations, 15 uniquely Totally not cursed items. 10 unique bone-chilling enemies, spooky phrases in a made-up language, and 8 to 12 hours of terrifying fun. Takes place on the planet Azkal, more specifically in the scorching wastes of the nation of 𝙎𝙤𝙧. Maps are provided for GMs and players, though the location and details can be easily adapted to any settings with minor changes. So, fun stuff. I love Egyptian things, so this one looks really cool. Here you have some of the maps of the locations. And then you can see the tomb has 17 different points of interest. And then you get a glossary, items and foes, including a skeleton child, a jackal priest, a zombie worshiper, a crocodile soldier, a scarab guardian. I mean, really fun stuff if you want to build like any kind of Egyptian sort of feeling place. This is going to come in handy. So you got running the adventure, the summary, the lore, languages, setup, visions of the past, and then something called 𝙒𝙘𝙬𝙀, madness, the background and hook. So we'll read some of this for you. So some events force characters to make a wisdom save or be afflicted with madness. When a character fails such a check, choose or roll on the table below. The character experiences a sudden urge to eat flesh and drink blood as soon as combat ends. So that's not good. But it's madness, right? The character feels compelled to repeat an obscure 𝙒𝙬𝙀 prayer with every skill check made by them or a party member. So, that could be fun to roleplay as well. And that's just 2 of the 6 options. And then we got background and hook. Once you're ready to begin and have set up the appropriate mood and music, read the following. Our story takes place long ago in the midst of the Emerald War, an age where the country of suns and sand fought a battle against itself, following a time of drought and misery where common folk died by the thousands. While the nobility gorged themselves with plenty, the people finally have had enough, rebelled against their rulers, plunging the nation of 𝙎𝙤𝙧 into chaos. Soon, the 𝙭𝙗𝙗, a cabal of wicked arcanists who had been using their sand magic to oppress the masses for generations, led by Shah Nithkarit Ra, one of the Sultan's most trusted advisors, began the process of starving out the rebel forces by summoning the desert itself to siege the city of Arja with its blustering storms. It was in this precarious time that members of the rebellion hired out a group of mercenaries to hunt down an ancient relic lost to time, a relic many believed could dwarf the power of the Sultan's mages and turn the tides of the Emerald War in the rebels' favor. The group was varied, their motives unclear, yet the promise of a vast reward or perhaps a better future was enough to convince them to cross the deadliest area of the 𝙎𝙤𝙧 Desert, a zone known as the scorching wastes where the sand burns your feet and the wind sears your skin. So very descriptive. You get the feeling of this world you're about to enter. It's really fun, and I love the frequency of the maps in here. It's pretty cool to see all these little locations that you can use. Again, you can set this somewhere else, but it's nice to have the option to use this Egyptian-like setting. Fun stuff. I think you can have a good time with Sand and Blood. So look for it in the links below under Sand and Blood and give it a click. Well, that was our last new release for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video for the algorithm, leave us a comment. I will respond to all comments personally. And if you can, share the video on social media so we can get more eyes on the channel and on these wonderful creators that we're focusing on every week. It's even more important now to bring attention to third-party creators. They've taken a hit with the whole OGL madness, and we need to help them get back up to normal and get the word out. There's so many people that are just astonished that there is such a thing as third-party content. I mean, we need to help educate and help it become the norm for people to really be exploring third-party content when they're building their games. You can still homebrew all you want, but that is also third-party content. So looking at this stuff even for inspiration is helpful to help all these small businesses out here. So take a look at all the links in the video description. Click those links and purchase these books, or at least explore them, add them to your wish lists, buy them for friends, whatever you want to do. And if you make any purchase, even if it's a book we didn't talk about this week after clicking our links, you're going to help the channel through a small affiliate fee. So if you're thinking about shopping on DriveThru or DM's Guild, maybe visit one of our videos and click one of our links first, just so you can help us support the channel, because it doesn't cost you any extra, and it definitely supports us to keep doing this and bringing these titles to light every week. So we really appreciate that. And if you want to take it further, we do have 7 books, including our most recent Dragonlance companion, down there in the video description as well. Or you can go to splinterverse.com and check all those out as well. So thank you so much for watching. If you're a creator and you're out there, really think about networking. That would be my advice to you. You know, meet other creators, get to know them, see what they're up to, share resources. Hey, do you know a person who does cartography? Hey, do you know a person who does websites? You know, share those resources, connections, support each other. You know, maybe retweet a book that they've released, and they'll retweet one of yours, or whatever. Just make those connections, because if you're trying to build a business, build a brand, that is going to serve you. It's also going to comfort you, because it's hard sometimes for our family members to understand the challenges of publishing, right? But others that do it can. So it's another way to make going through the world in this business a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more collaborative, right? You might even find that you want to collaborate with some of these creators that you've reached out and connected with. So I encourage networking. That's your tip for this week as a creator. But for everyone watching, creator or otherwise, I do appreciate you. I'm so grateful that you support this channel and watch the videos every week with me. So thank you. And until next time, happy adventuring.